Hey guys, still not got the ads sorted out. I've meant to do that and I forgot about it. I think it's time to put it back up, but I'm not sure. Anyway, what a day. 5 people watching. Goodness gracious. 5 people with nothing better to do with their afternoon. If you're watching this, you've got a minute or you're close to a computer rather than the big screen, or you're on your phone, say good day. The chat works and I generally am watching it in one side there. Look, I don't know what's happening here. I've been messing on several big projects this weekend, like all getting a bit crazy. Hey Mark, hey Peter, I was up your way, Mark, today. Big accident on the motorway on the way up on the gateway. So I was running pretty late and didn't get there till 10 o'clock and then didn't get as much done as we could. Been making cores for the foundry, so we got all the cores made, but we're going to have to go back Sunday and pour the casting. We'll see how that goes. So that's where we're at with that. Come on. I don't know how good our internet is tonight. Oh, sorry, guys. If we drop in and out, we'll give up. But what's Peter up to? So more about this tomorrow night, but this is what I've sort of been working on this weekend, off and on. Well, one of the things I'm working on. Are these cores for this casting. So basically this was a bit of this drawing for the gear was a bit of a joint effort. I'd had one go at it and several guys in the onshape group had another go at it. And I picked the one I think that was probably the best. And from there I've developed a core box, which is sort of where are we? Core box that looks something like this. Close some of these bits off. Looks like down here. If we take the slides out first, we remove that, then it gives us a core pattern, and when you flex this a little bit, that slides out because it's tapered. We end up with a core, sodium silicate core like this from sand. We've got a box of those. There is 17 of these. I think I did 18 or 19 for a couple of spares just in case. So these are all ready to go on Sunday. This is one segment of the tooth, and that goes, if we have a look at this, we might be spending all night just loading pages. Come on, you can do it. It's okay. It'll happen. Probably going to get rid of the talking head at some point because it's pulling some bad winds. I think something's loading. There we go. There it is. So they all go in the core box like that. This has actually got a taper and a recess for this center core. Like so. So basically we've got a block, a hole in the sand like that. And I haven't labelled anything, which is a bit slack. I probably should have, but this was really just to put together to sort of take you the screenshot so you see how it works. And then they sit in there against the edge like that. And then we put the 17 in. Now there's a little bit of a gap here. You can see that in there. If we zoom in, you can see the gap, I think. There it is. The reason for that is that there's a parting line on each side of these cores, and they tend to swell a little bit too. So there's about 1.3 millimeters, something like that. I've made this that much bigger. There's some casting theory anyway. On the circumference, this is about 23 mil bigger than the selection of these around here. And the reason for that is that gives us 1.3 millimeters or something between the gaps, which isn't very much, really. But because this core box has a parting line halfway up, and because they tend to swell up a bit, and because they always tend to be a tight fit to get the last one in, and you've got to wriggle them around to get them to fit snug enough to fit, that makes them all fit in easy. So voice of experience there with that one. I've sort of guessed the actual dimension, but it should be pretty good, I think. So I spent today making these cores, so we've made all them up, and we're going to probably pour it Sunday. There's a top then, sand top goes on there. It's probably not. Anyway, and that gives us a mould. So that's most of what I've been working on. Also, you'll see most of this if you tune in Wednesday night, because it's our actual real live stream. And a bit on this too, so it's coming in nicely too. I've actually got like real bricks and mortar. I'll just open that, I think. Maybe. Anyway, we'll have a look at that tomorrow night too. This wasn't really going to be what we're actually doing. Anyway, we've got 5 people watching. Last week we played with this. Might have a look at that first. I actually went back and finished this. Went back and finished this box after the live stream, which looks pretty good. I put some right, so forth and so on. That was designed to fit the actual plastic bit. Oh my gosh. The plastic piece that come with it in the box. So to give you some idea, I printed the bottom half, but I haven't got the top half printed, so that fits beautifully. Oh dear, the camera's all back to front. So at this point, we're winning. Just got to print a lid and some catches, and we'll have that done. So pretty happy with that. At some point, I'll get that done. It's one of those things. So that was last week. And this probably, I think this needs reinforcing. And this is about a load. But we're logged in. Oh, you draw it up, I'll print it. There you go. There's an offer you won't get every day. Peter. So this is still loading. There we go. We'll start a new document right from the start. You probably won't have all these owned by me documents when you first start up. This should probably be blank. You can change this if you like to public. It might have that first, which will be all the stuff really that people have been working on in public documents. There's some cool stuff. It's worth having a look. I get sidetracked here. But we go back to owned by me, it'll load that page up again. And this create button up here, click the create button. We've got options to open a folder or a document, or to import files, or import from somewhere else, or to put some labels on things so that you can actually see what they are. But click document, new document. And this pop-up screen pops up. There you go. I'm going to date this the same as we always do. 17th today, I think. 06/25. We'll call it. We put some label so we know what we're searching for. It's owned by me. There's no additional folders, so it's not going to get lost anywhere. Create a public document. Yeah, you probably just need the foam insert, and you can stretch that box out because it's a very good design, that box. That was one that was actually pinched off the internet, but it is a good design, a decent little box. I'll post some proper pictures of it in Discord at some point. But you can just stretch that out to whatever size you want, or you can design something from scratch, or you could design something you can screw hinges on. There's all sorts of stuff. There's lots of ways to do it. You could just have a clip-on, clip-off top. You could do like a print-in-place hinge that's actually all one piece. You just print it out and it folds up. They don't generally tend to last very long. But yeah. So we've got a new document, and we've got down here, we've got Part Studio 1. And we've got an assembly, which is automatically there. There's nothing in either of those because there's nothing here in our parts list. And there's nothing here in our feature script list. So the feature list, there's nothing here. So we've got our planes, top, front. we can toggle them on and off with that little eye or right. We can also toggle them on and off with P. If you press P, the shortcut, it just turns them all off and turns them all back on again. If you got one that's sort of half, like nothing there, it's all mixed up. If you press N, that'll bring the closest plane into like normal view. If you click the front icon up here, that'll bring it around too, but that'll make it fit the size of the page rather than if we zoom this out using the scroll wheel and screw this around. If you just press N, that'll just bring it round at that scale. If you press the front there, that'll bring it back in. Zoom the overall size of the drawing into the page. If you've got to say, we'll start with a sketch. It's part Studio One. We'll start with a sketch, just as a refresher. This is asking us up here. We've got a little pop-up window that says select a sketch plane. There's a sketch pop-up window. You've got some checkpoints here that I'm not going to worry you all with at this early date. Don't stress about that. Show errors is probably worth ticking, and that's automatically ticked. The rest don't matter much. But if you click this front sketch plane, you can put a sketch on that plane, or you can click it here for front in the default geometry here in the feature list. All you got to do is click that, and that automatically puts that front plane in there, and it gives us a sketch on that front plane. Now, we can rename the sketch by clicking this little pencil up here, and it gives you, we call this front sketch. And click enter or the green tick, and basically up here in the feature list, it's changed that to front sketch, so we can find that. So what are we going to draw? That's where I got to before I realized it was 8 o'clock and we had to start the stream. So that shows you exactly how organized I am. It's not even a little bit. Looking for something that I've actually got here that's kind of cool that we can draw. And there's a lot of stuff here on the bench, to be honest. Now, some things, like there's a little double pole, double throw slider switch here on the bench. Right, electronic component. If you go to public documents, you'll find someone's already drawn one of them up, and you can just pinch it or borrow it or use it or find that that's quite helpful. So save yourself some time. If you've got something that's a basic engineering component, it's probably out there somewhere, and all you've got to do is go and purloin it from somewhere. So without messing around there, that's a pretty useful thing. It's a pretty cool little project. Got some paper cups. Espresso cup. Very useful for mixing paint, for sign writing. Use these a lot. Got bags of them hanging around here. They're pretty good. Get the plastic coated ones if you're going to use them for paint, because the ordinary cardboard ones, they just go through. If you leave it, there's nothing left when you come back. So let's draw one of them up. That's pretty straightforward. Not a lot to it. What's more complicated is that I'm going to guess dimensions, because I don't think I've actually got any form of ruler here. Anyway, took them all back to the other room. So this little cup, we want to rename this because we've decided what we're going to draw. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to profile sketch. Hardware companies have CAD drawings for places like that. Yeah, American hardware companies in particular. What's the big one? With the yellow and green logo. They have CAD drawings for a lot of stuff. Somewhere like RS Components or one of the electronic places will have CAD drawings as well. They may or may not be useful. You find in public drawings and public documents that you'll find probably something that's already in order. Is already in onshape, and you just got to drag it across. I'm going to call that profile sketch. So looking at this, if we start with this, right, a line here, there, now here's the thing, not sure it's a useful thing, but it's a trick. I just changed that line as I was drawing it without moving anything or touching anything or clicking any buttons. I changed this line to this line, which is a tangent curve. Now all you got to do is loop it back on itself and it'll automatically change. I'm not sure why that feature is actually in onshape, or why someone thought that was a good thing to have. Someone who's expert in the group might actually know that. Trevor Foster's watching or someone like that, they might know why that's a good idea. But that's the first time I've really ever found a use for it and managed to use it to be successful. We want to draw this out. It's a basic shape, but this has got a lip in the bottom, right? Just for example, click extend, which is X. We've always got to think of that. Extend that line down there. Press escape so that none of these are lit up. You don't mess around and miss. And we'll go with an offset. Going to offset this. How thick do you think this cardboard is? 1 millimeter? No, point. Let's call it 0.8. Click on that line for offset, and the little mouse comes up with the green. You see that with the green ticket. So just click that to when you got it on the right side, and it comes up with a dialog box. So 0.8 millimeters. Don't need to put the millimeters because we are working in metric. There we go. We probably want to offset this line too the same. So can't do them both at once. Clicking on this arrow will change the direction of it. There we go, like that, see? And 0.8 again. If we get another line and we press Q for a construction line, and we run a construction line up through here as a center line, And we might change, put this roll top on it a bit. There we go. If we click that, it brings our sketch up into the actual window. If we click the front document in front here. Now, dimensions, we're going to put some dimensions on here. We want to dimension this line, or the distance across the inside of the cup, which is, I guess, pretty close to 35 mil. I'm guessing that. If we click that, and then we click the construction line, that gives us, there you go, a diameter and the radius line. That's a bit, a little bit of practice. I've clicked the wrong one. I'm going to Control Z, change that. Control Z again, delete that, and I'll put the dimension on the bottom one. Click on the end part, and then click on the construction line. Only works for the construction line. And that drags that in. We can redimension this one, but probably best just to press M, isn't it, for trim? And we can just trim this. Now this hangs down 4 mil, something like that. So that's a pretty basic measurement. Dimension again into there. Let's go 4. And we'll M, or we'll trim the center out of that. Going to draw a line across here. And trim that up. Just using a little pair of scissors up the top. Let's trim that size. Now, how tall is it? 48? 48 mil, something like that. We need to put this rolled edge on first. If we move this over the top and we use our scroll wheel, that's going to pull this in nicely. Put a dimension on here. I reckon this is, what radius is it? Is it a radius? It probably is. It's 2.5, I reckon. Like so. Extend, which is, come on guys, X. And this will extend this around here just the same. You bring that around there to touch on that. Hasn't quite touched. Do it again. It highlights the line, so that's actually, there we go. And let's offset that just the same. Now that's telling us you can't offset that distance. If we swap that around, it's good. We'll change that to 0.8 before we actually click any buttons. because that's the same thickness as this. We'll click that back there. That puts that in there like that. It gives us a rolled edge, nice, and we're going to do exactly the same thing. Extend this. Might not actually, because that's not really how it works. Escape to get out of that, and we'll put a line across here, I think. That's more how it works. So then we can put this overall height dimension. Go from the center there to the distance there. That's telling us it's 96. That's way too much. 40, I'm guessing 46. And of course it's done that. Because that's an offset line, it's only moved the offset line. It hasn't actually moved the actual line. So if we go from this one to the center, let's make 46. That brings a whole lot down. We can trim that then. M for trim. Trim that one. Now, that angle doesn't look right. And I reckon the outside diameter across there is about 40, probably 45. Let's see what we've got here from the center here. We'll click on that line. And it says 61. Is that going to change it? Probably not. We'll try it, but I don't think it will. What we got? 45 we'll call. It will. We just put too many 4s in there. We double click on that and put 45. But it's done some other things as well. We'll go back to there. We can put an actual angle dimension on here and work out the angle. What we got? It's not that much. And that'll do what we want it to do. That's one way of doing it. It's more. It's probably about where we need to be. Now, you'll notice that this hole in the middle here has turned grey, but the rest of it hasn't. That's because this line through here is only a construction line. If we change that, then that'll make a lot of it turn. So that's a complete circle there. I reckon we could just click the revolve button. Face of the profile sketch, revolve axis. And we've got a shot glass. There we go. Pretty much how it is. It looks like a blue vase or a flowered pocket or something. It's very difficult to tell what size it is. What we can do though is edit the appearance. If we come down here to part 1. And we haven't renamed that, so we might rename it first. We'll call that shot glass. On that, and right click on that and edit appearance. Going to make that white, grey, probably white, as white as we can with shadows and things. There we go. If we right click on this colour here, we can add appearance to face. Right? It comes up with a pop-up. And what colour is this? It's sort of a dark grey. Or a dark brown. Doesn't matter much. Let's go dark grey. So there we go. One shot glass, one paper shot glass. Now, say we're going to put this on the space shuttle. We're not, right? But if you want to know how heavy it was, there's all sorts of information you can find. Someone's probably already done it on Thingiverse, yeah. Right click this and assign material. Got a little pop-up window down here. And we've got a material library. PAPER. Is it in there? Interesting. Paper's not in there. Well, that's the first time I've ever seen that. We could make it out of 300 series stainless steel material. Then down here under my talking head, I'm going to move my talking head somewhere. Nope, we're going to go back to here because that's more information than anyone needs. There we go. But under the talking head, right at the edge there, last thing, there's a little set of scales. That gives us all this information. It tells us that surface area and volume, center of mass, all that sort of stuff. It says it's 0.068 kilograms, which is 68 grams. Is that right? 68 grams? So in stainless steel, 68 grams is quite a chunky bit of stuff. So Peter's shot glass is stainless steel, and they're probably made a bit different to that. But there's a little paper. We can go ahead and we can rename this one down here to shot glass. So that's a pretty, it's taken us, what, 20 minutes, half hour? And I wasn't really rushing it through. We explained it as we went, but it's not a very difficult thing to make, something like that. me. So, pretty basic part. Peter's got actual shot glasses and flask. I don't even have that, I don't think. Don't think I'm quite that equipped for those sort of afternoons. I'm going to have a bit of a dig around here in the drawer. There's all sorts of things here. This is my drawing equipment drawer. Box envelopes. Box of bobby pins. Pencils, leads. Probably steam engine bits, watch bits. Rostering drawing case bits. Yeah, same. That's probably why let's make a coaster. If we create a part studio, we'll rename that one. You don't drink, so Peter's no good at all. We'll go to top here, a new sketch, and we'll click top. Peter's no good. He can't tell us how big a coaster is. I'm guessing that a standard coaster is about 90 millimeters. We collect a center point rectangle. We can pull out a circle and pull out a square like that. Now, that comes up automatically with the box we can write up. If you move the mouse over the other box, you can write that one up too. I'm going to go 90. When you finalize it, it puts a dimension in. And we do the same with the other one. Now, they have a radius on them, so the best thing to do with that is just put a sketch fillet in there before we even start. And we can click all four corners. Don't know how big the radius is. But if we finalize that, it gives us a box to put the radius in. Is 10 too big? No, that looks about right. And we can extrude it straight out. We don't need to finalize that sketch, just extrude it straight out. It does it for us. And 1.6, something like that. And there's a pretty basic coaster. See, there's not much to that. It's a standard giveaway bar coaster or throw out bar coaster in polystyrene or whatever they are. Let's have a look here. Oh, I was just having a bit of a look for some actual pictures of a bar coaster, but well, there's 1,000. There's no actual real artwork. This feature, we can put the artwork straight on the coaster. No idea. Here's one. This will do us. I'll just save that. There we go. So, sorry, I'm back now. We have here where it says plus. If we click on that, I'm all looking around the other screen. We can import. If you click import, it comes up with a pop-up window, and you can't see that because Restream doesn't let me share a pop-up window. I'm not sure why, but it just says basic dialog box, and it's telling us it's uploading a picture which is called coaster.jpg. And if we have a look at this, we can see it here. There it is. Pretty simple coaster. Just artwork for that. If we go back to this, and something that's reasonably cool, if we change the appearance of this, edit appearance for part 1, and we'll change that to white, whatever. Up here, there's a feature called Decal. If we click on that, we can put an image, which is already in the current document. We can find one in one of our other documents if we want, but here in the current document, there's an image, and we can put that straight on that face. You don't even have to modify that or adjust it. There you go. So it's probably a fraction. It's got a white line there. If you really wanted to change it around, we could right click on this and change it. There you go. Change the vertical shift. It's not 0.1, 0.5 millimeters. It wasn't quite 1 millimeter. It wants to go this way. 0.5. There we go. Yes, totally do one with a steamroller. Find a steamroller picture. So that's not going to print like that, of course, but it gives you some idea. We can make an assembly. And insert one part in. Insert the coaster in. And that clicks straight on the origin point. So we don't even have to change it around. I'm going to fix that because it's just a habit. Stops this one being able to, you can't move that around because it's fixed now. And if we insert the glass, what you find is that for some reason, because our centre point was there, the glass hangs down through the bottom. Best thing you can do is just drag it straight up. If you click on that, it comes up with this set of arrows. And just move that up a random distance. And we can do a fasten mate, or a revolve mate, or a slider mate. We do a pin slot mate, or a planer mate. We find it comes up with a little rainbow wheel in the middle, and that's the point that we're going to connect the two together. If we click that there like that, and we do the same on this one, that connects them in the right place. Now, because it's a planer mate, we can move this around, but we can't lift it off, which is not particularly useful. But we can adjust this too if we edit for limits. So inner limit is minus 45. No, it's not that much, because what diameter was this? It was 30 millimeters, wasn't it? So it's 30 is minus 30. Let's see what happens if we do it like this. And 30 millimeters there. Now what I've done, I think what I've done, if we click that, it's not quite right, but we can drag that around on that mate, so it's got freedom to move if you want to automate it, but it won't come off the coaster. So putting stuff together in mates is kind of a pretty cool thing. It's very useful to be able to do this. If we've still got a minute, it's back down to 3 people. We could have a look at that box and animate it so that the lid opens and stuff like that. But we can animate this. I believe we can animate this. We can animate it, and there you go. Not particularly useful. We'll change that to 20 steps. So not a useful thing, but there we go. We've got a shot glass that moves around on a coaster. Anyway, so that's sort of what I've been. It's kind of useful, I guess. If you want to annoy someone at the bar, that's kind of the motion you make. Animation, the steps change the speed. If we jump into 5 steps, say for example, and then click animate again, it goes quite quickly. If we change this to 1,000 steps, animate it, we hardly even see it's moving. But it is moving. So we can also change this from a single to reciprocate. So we can make it do it once and finish, or we can make it like complete the stroke. We can change our end values. So if you only wanted to move 20 millimeters across there, .230 by 210, that's quite a big box. It's bigger than my printer. So I take back what I said. I'm only good for about 100 and, is that right? 160, something like that. This box is about the limits to my printer, but someone will have a bigger one. You can certainly draw up a box. That's got to the other side and it's moving back now. If we change that to 2 steps, there you go. So anyway, I hope that was a little bit useful. We've got an hour, which is not a bad effort. Appreciate anyone who's tuned in. I'm probably going to put, for all the good it is, put this little drawing in the description box on the video. And someone might like to come back and have a fiddle with it. If you go to your, basically, if you open the document, then you can save it into your into documents that are owned by you, and from there you can edit it or do what you like. So we might do that. We'll have a look at it, Peter. We'll mess with it one night. Talk us through it at some point. We'll have a look at it. Might even have a look at it next week, but I'm not going to promise because there'll be something else come up by next week. And I'll probably actually have an actual real drawing that I'm working on. At the moment, there are things that I should be drawing up, but I haven't. So you got shot glass and that. Anyway, I'm going to call this, I think. Thanks, guys. Stuck it for an hour, which is pretty amazing. There are 4 people there somewhere, but holding up your Tuesday nights is a bit rough on everyone. I might be in Discord for a little while, probably not too long. And we'll catch you all on the flip side. I'm going to go and get hot Milo or something, I think, because it's kind of cold here. But appreciate you joining in. Thanks, and more soon. Be kind to me. or to everyone, each other, whoever else. And I don't really know this software real well. I'm kind of fluent, but I'm not an expert. And if there's something that you think there'd be a quicker way to do, let us know in the comments, because there certainly will be. This would actually make a really good little subject for resizing with a with this list or a spreadsheet. And there's some other features with colouring it and stuff that are kind of cool. I'd like to show everyone, but at some point, yeah, it's cold, Peter. I'm out, and more soon.